Hey, good morning. Good morning, everyone. My name is Henry Suarez, and thank you for assisting to today's webinars. Thanks to Full Protection to give you this opportunity as well. For today's webinar, we're going to see a product overview of the VISTA128 and 250 FBPT BPT panels. These are the commercial panels. Also, at the end of this webinar, we'll put a survey and send a barcode. The only thing you gotta do is just, if you have iPhone, you just open your camera and do like you're gonna take a picture, and it's gonna open. It's gonna give you like on the top of the camera. It's gonna show you on the screen that if you wanna open this in Safari, you tell it yes. You click on it, we'll open it in Safari, and it's gonna take you to the survey. Whoever doesn't have an iPhone, they have an Android, need to need to do it with their app, with their barcode app, and then it's trying to scan or take a picture with the barcode app, and then it will take you to the survey. I would really appreciate if you guys can do the survey for us. That's for Residio, for Honeywell Homes. All right. With that being said, we're gonna start this webinar. So we have here why Vista. The Vista panel, there is the recent Honeywell Vista series, are the security industry most widely used control panels over the world. They provide you and your customer with more of what you would really want, like simplified installation, robust protection, and innovations, lifestyle enhancing features, including simplified operation and support for home commercial automation and control. Also, panel can integrate the intrusion with fires and GSM radio, state-of-the-art alarm communication, video and home automation capabilities, and one flexible, scalable system. Engineered to seamlessly integrate with Honeywell's full range of keypads, graphic and touchscreen keypad, transmitters, hardwired and wireless sensors, and individual fire components, giving you the flexibility to create and customize solution on every stage of your customer needs. Provide time and cost efficiency for installation, training, system programming, and inventory. We also have a website, two websites for support, for a lot of documentation, and you can get support from there. It's called My WebTech, all right? My WebTech, HoneywellHomes.com, and for you to have access to get all those documentation, we need to email the support or support email. I'm going to put that at the end of the presentation. What is the support email as well? Also, we have an email for Discovery Learning Training site. That Discovery Learning Training site, you don't need to ask for access to that site. You just go into that website, Honeywell Homes Discovery Learning, and you can do how much training as you need. Okay. Looking here, we're gonna take a look at some characteristics of the 128 BPT and the 250 BPT panels. These technical characteristics are that these panels, these two have 9 zones on the plate. So number 9 is not supervised; it's just a normally closed zone. All right. On the 128, you can have 128 total zones. For the 250, you will have 250 zones. On wireless, for the wireless one, then you will have 128, 127 for the wireless, for the 128 panel, and for the 250 panel, you have 249. Now remember, those panels have a feature technology that is called VPlex. I will explain what is VPlex in a further slide. If you're using BPlex, then you can use 118 zones for the 128 using the BPlex. And for the 250, you will do 241 zones. How many user code can you do? Easy. On the 128, you have 150 user code, 4 digits. And for the 250 panel, you have up to 250 user codes. Okay. The log event capacity for the 128 is 512 events, and for the 250, it's 1,000 events. Both of these panels have a partition with one more partition that is called partition 9. That has the master partition that it says master keyboard allow visualization for all partition. That being said, if you log into the partition 9, That is not for you to put zones or anything like that. It will give you an state for how are all your other partition that you have in the panel. Okay. I have the capacity for 31 alphanumeric keypads and 6 graphic or touchscreen keypads. All right. The expansion of the you can span up to 96 programmable relays or outputs, and you have one integration, one port, the RS-232 port for integration. Okay, that you can do such as WinPack Pro Wash or third-party vendor integration that is supported by us. So we have a vendor list that are supported by us. BPT stands for Burglar Panel Turbo, and that turbo means that you have one integrated RS-232 port for integration. Okay. Looking at here for the 128 FBPT or the 250 FBPT, it's a fire burglar panel turbos, fire arm burglar. You can do that combination, intrusion devices and fire devices. All right. Now this one have 8 zones on the plate instead of 9. All right. 128 zone for the 128 panel, 250 for the 250. The zone is almost the same for the zones. 127 wireless, 249 for the 250, 120 for the VPlex, 242 for the VPlex I. User code the same, 150 for the 128, 250 for the 250 panel. Look events is the same as well. Everything is the same as we saw for the BPT panel. The difference is that on the FBPT you have 8 zones on the plate. On the BPT you have 9. Okay, and it's a firearm burg panel. You can use it for intrusion and fire, UL certified. Okay, and goes by NFPA 72 as well. This panel. So more characteristic that you have in the 128 and 250 FBPT. You get 2 zones for 2-wire smooth detector, conventional 2 wires. All right. On the BPT is only zone 1 for up to 16 2-wire smooth detectors. On the FBPT, you have 2 zones, zone 1 and zone 2. So you can have up to 16 2-wire smooth detectors, and zone 1 and 2, so they give you 32 2-wire smooth detector. You have a relay on the board to do a reset for the 4-wire smooth detector on the board itself, on the plate. Now on the BPT, you don't have that relay either. Okay, that's the other difference. Now you have here 2 NAC on the board of the panel. You got 2 bell circuit. Now on the BPT is only 1. Okay. Also support addressable BPlex smoke detectors like maintenance notification. Something called feature called for those devices as a smart contact. When you're programming those devices, you can tell by devices like a smoke detector or the motion detector, there's BPlex. You can tell that there is smart contact and you have more features that can tell you the maintenance for those devices. Have the ability to report the high and low sensitivity to of the detector. Also support wireless fires and intrusion devices. The wireless expansion is UL listed. The resection of the signal supervised by the panel. You have the option for local printer to print the log events, and also support areas for carbon monoxide detector, the CO detectors. Okay. Here, doing some compares on the panel, the feature chart. You guys can take a look more specific here because we're talking about the 128 and 250 panel, BPT, FBPT. But we also have a smaller panel, the VISTA32 FBPT. All right, this panel, comparing with all the other 2 panels, the 128 and 250, is going to have a smaller zones capacity. It's going to be 32 zones, 8 zone standards on the board of the panel. Wireless could be up to 32 zones. And you have BPlex, only using BPlex device, it will be then 24 zones, okay? And you have the same feature. The other difference they have is this panel, the 32, only have 2 partition. The 128 and 250, they have a partition. Also, on the user code is going to be less, smaller panel. So it's going to have support up to 75 user codes, okay? And all of them support the feature of key switch arming. That key switch arming is when you want to have a partition to be armed by a key, that you can set up the zone. Normally in this panel is zone 7. So you tell them the panel programming that you want what partition to arm the key switch, and then you just pass the wire that key switch to your Zone 7. You turn it over, and then it's gonna send a short to the panel, and then it will arm that partition. To disarm it, you just manually switch again, like turn it over. I'm gonna send another short, and then it's gonna disarm the panel, that partition that you set it up to. Okay. All right, looking at more feature of the panel, you can take a look. Also have relays as a 96 output programmable relay, just like the other two panels, 128 and 250. The reporting format is contact ID and Express. This panel has the feature that you can have something called a module for access control relays. It's called VISTA128. Okay, that's an integration for access. And for the 128 and 32, you can support up to 8 doors. And for the 250, you can support 15 doors. Okay, you can do schedules. Schedules are very handy when you want to restrict access to the user by schedules, or you can do arming or disarming per schedule, or activating relay per schedule. You can do up to 20 schedules. Okay, all these panels support AlertNet. AlertNet is or software or for the monitoring. We have our communicator or AlertNet communicator that could be IP, GSM, or dual IP and GSM. This panel do not support any longer panel linking. We don't have that module anymore, discontinued. They support the printed output. The event log of this panel is going to be the same. I mentioned before, 512 for the 128. Now for the 32 is also 512 event. For the 250, then it will be 1,000 event. Okay. You have the onboard serial port, and also this panel support Honeywell to the Connect 2.0 support services. All right. That Honeywell to the Connect is the remote application for the end user to be able to interact with the system, with their panel, like arming, disarming, bypassing, working on old partitions. Can add Total Connect cameras, so you can see the cameras at your premises or at your business, and can create a zines or rule, can do automation, integrate terminating devices such garage doors, can integrate Skybell, that's the doorbell when somebody's ringing the doorbell, can interact with the people who are outside to see who's on my door, I interact with them, talk to them at the same time. Also, all this panel support could be downloadable using the AlertNet communicator. You can do remote programming with the software called Compass. Okay. Also, you can do programming with the software Compass Direct Connect straight to the panels. And here at the bottom, you can see all the compliance listing for all this panel, UL and UL Canada and ORD. Okay. I want to talk a little bit about BPlex pulling loop. Okay, the advantage that we have with the BPlex. Basically, the BPlex is the patent pulling loop technology that literally defines prices and performance on a simple pair of wires. Due to by using 2 wires instead of 4, BPlex offers significant advantage over home run wiring of the conventional 4-wire multiplex. Okay, providing economical expansion of peripherals devices and point identification to your central station monitoring. Okay. That being said, when you normally wire like let's put this example, motion detector, glass spray, they have 4 wire, 4 conductors, 2 for the zone and 2 for your power. Now, if you're using VPlex, this kind of panel, VPlex panel, and you're using VPlex devices, you don't need those 4 wires because you're using VPlex devices like VPlex motion or VPlex glass spray. So with only 2 wires connected straight to the pulling loop, right? They are identified to a serial number. We identify that to the panel with a serial number, and those 2 wires are bringing already the data and power, and you can come out from one device and go to another. So you simplify your installation right there. Only 2 wires, and you don't have to home run it through the from the panel. Okay. The benefit that you can have is we reduce you the cost due to you only using two wires. You're gonna use less wire, less wire run. You're gonna save time. It will reduce the power consumption. Bplex devices draw minimal amount of current that minimize the need to use auxiliary power supplies. Also, fast and accurate identification and response due to although they have a zero number as a point ID that will help identify the panel, what is going on, and what is the device. It will reduce the time and labor due to Replex offer a label and time-saving maintenance features. They give you the ability to diagnose a pinpoint defect. As a result, installation and service professionals can arrive at the site already knowing the exact location of the problem. Service calls become much more efficient, saving you the time and labor costs associated with the repeat visits. Also, we reduce the maintenance costs. B Plus can initiate functional smooth detectors testing from the Vista panel, all of the above, the 32, 128, and 250. Series keypad automatically logging results locally and sending them to the monitoring station. This drastically reduced system maintenance costs when annual tests or inspections are performed. Honeywell B Plus addressable technology also offers many new and exciting innovations while fully supporting existing addressable loop products. You will experience efficiencies in installation and reliability that will add up quickly on your bottom line, being the experience the B-Plex advantage we have today. Here we can appreciate and look at some accessories and expanders for the pulling loop, okay, for the B-Plex expansion. We have the 42A SN, that's a 8-zone expanders, all right? So if I'm using devices that are not B-Plex, such as smooth detectors, smooth detector for wires, of course, or motion detector, glass break, contact, regular contact that are not V-Plex, then you will connect it to this on expanders. Okay, and this on expander is connected to the pulley loop of the panel. So we also have the 4208 SNF. The SNF is the same as the 4208, but the difference is you can have one zone class A and the other zone class B. Class B. You got the other zone expander 4208, 4208U that is discontinued already. You got the 4190 SN, it's a V-Plex 2-zone expander. You have the 4193, it's a V-Plex 2-zone expander. The 4293 as well as an interface module. You got the 4297, that's a loop extender module. Okay, when we will see that in that on the further slide, because on the pulling loop we have on 128 milliamps. You're supposed to see 64, and then you will add the 4297, so it will give you more power with standard power to 128 more milliamp. You have to use only 64 milliamps. So every time when you're doing your install, you gotta make sure how many devices you have, what is the current of those devices. Make sure you do not exceed the current. You can add the 4297 to get more current. Okay. There's a module for panel linking that was discontinued already. We don't have that anymore. We don't do panel linking. This is an additional accessory that for auxiliary power supply battery charger. And we have the ECP Isolator Module. This ECP Isolator Modules is for you to isolate the devices that is connected to the ECP bus. What is the ECP bus? It's Enhanced Communication Protocol. That's where you connect the keypad or on a net communicator. All those devices that have a physical address or an address, okay, you connect it on your ECP bus. So if you have fire devices and burglar devices like keypads, you got keypad for a fire and keypad for burr. Then you will install your ECP isolator module to isolate from fire to burr. Okay. These other accessories are devices that are VPlex technology, like motion detector, overhead door contact, regular surface mount contact, recess contact, glass break, other kind of recess contact. All of these devices, like this one that I just mentioned, notice that they end the part number with the SN. That means those are serial number, those are BPlex devices. These devices go connected straight to the pulley loop. All right. You don't put those on your zone expander right here on your 4208. Where you put in the A zone of the 4208 is the devices that are not VPlex. All right. Now taking a look here for the keypads. We got the landscape keypads, the fixed keypad like the 6150 or 6150 with voice. All right. You got the alphanumeric keypad, the custom alpha like 6160 and 6160V. That means the voice have a voice announcement. You have keypads with integrated receiver with the wireless receiver. You have the 6150 RF that it behave as a medium receiver. We will talk about the receivers on the kind of receivers on another slide. But this have integrated the wireless receiver and it will support 16 wireless zone. If you're using the 6160 RF, it will support as many zone the panel support because it will behave as a high receiver. Okay. Once you got keypad with an integrated hardwire expander and a relay, it's the 6164 US. It's like a 6160 keypad that has four zones on the back of the board of the keypad and one relay. But this keypad, this on expander, this is four zone that has on it. It behave. It's gonna be as a 4219 zone expander that are installed for the VISTA low panel like 20p, 21p, 40LA. Okay, this zone expander here would not be compatible with the commercial panel with 128 and 250. But yes, you can use the relay. Okay, you're able to use that relay. Okay, you got the wireless keypad like the 5828. They're both fixed keypad and the 5828V for voice. You can have the voice announcement. Okay. You got the premium custom design keypad like the 6460S, that is S stands for silver, and W stands for white. That's the colors. You got the slim keypad portrait style 6149EX or the 6165EX, and the fire keypad, fire commercial keypad. That is the 6160 CR2. All right. On the bottom here, you got the touchscreen keypads, the 6280W, that's for white, 6280S stands for silver. And you got the tuxedo Wi-Fi keypad. If you want to add automation, then you will have to go with one of these tuxedo Wi-Fi keypad. Okay. Here we have the wireless receivers. There's five kind of wireless receiver. This is including the keypad that have integrated a wireless receiver already. The keypads are the receivers are the 5881 and 5881 ENHZ, that's for a commercial wireless receiver, and the 5883H, that's for high security transceiver module. Okay, so the 5881 receivers they come on three kinds: ENL, ENM, and ENH. L stands for low, M for medium, H for high. So low mean you can only use 8 zone wireless in the panel. Medium you can only use 16 zone wireless, and H it will depend of the panel, the limit of the panel. Okay, and the 5881 ENHZ is a commercial wireless receiver, and the 5883 I mentioned before high security transceiver module. All right, and the wireless repeater is the 5800 RP. It's a wireless repeater that can be supervised with one zone or four zones. Okay, to be more detailed on the repeater. These are the wireless devices that you can have on the panel, such as mini door contact, ultra small contact, two-zone wireless transmitters, shock sensor, reset contact. You got tilt sensors for like overhead doors. You got outdoor wireless contact, temperature sensors. You got for life safety, such as smoke detector with heat detector. You got CO detector, wireless sirens. You also have this is the Bplex device, the smoke detector Bplex hardwire, a 5183 SD. That's the smoke detector. SDT will be a smoke and heat. And you have for wireless devices for space protection, so like the mini chalk sensor, glass break for indoor access protection sensor, outdoor motion detector, dual tag motion, PIR motions. These are petting mute motion detector, hard wires, and glass breaks. Also, you got here conventional remote controls on personal emergency response option, such panic button from one button and two button. You can use it as a pendant or have a watch or a click to put it on the belt. You have the key fob to arm and disarm the system with your key fob. Okay. Also, you have this kit for garage door control. All right. Just to let you know, this is right here, the 5814 and the 5816. It's the most selling transmitter worldwide. Okay, it's very efficiency, it's very handful, very workable. It's a very good device. Okay, you got your sounder siren option like indoor sirens, outdoor siren, dual tone, and wireless siren as well. The wireless siren is a 95 dB. Okay. This is just a structure that what you can do and see on the panel. That you can have the panel, can have it connected to the BPF devices. Then you can have intrusion devices, more VPlex wireless devices. Take off. Don't mind this panel linking. We don't do the panel linking anymore. Okay. Just to have in mind that you can have a robust, very big system. Okay. How I mentioned before, the user code are up to 4 digits. They have 7 authority level. They are completely programmable through the keypad. You can do global arming and can send open and close report by the user number. Okay. On the peripheral devices, you have up to 31 addressable devices that you can program in the panel. Those are enabled on the Field 93 and device programming. Okay, such as keypads, wireless receiver, relay modules, long range radio for on net long range radio. Also can be programmed for supervision of modules and keypads. Okay. The event are divided into 6 categories: alarm, supervisory, check, bypass, open and close, system, and test. You enable that on *05 to enable the notifications. Also, you can see the events through the keypad or alpha keypad. You can print it or can view it through the software compass as well. Okay. How I mentioned before, the addition on the panel, you can do upload, download using all the net communicator or direct connect with the software compass. All right. So you can do your remote programming with direct programming on your computer and do a direct connect. Also have the ability to send 24-hour dialer tests over all ARLANet devices. You don't have to program that in the panel anymore. If you're using an ARLANet communicator, or communicator would do a test, periodic test daily. All right, you don't have to do it on the panel. Automation and the characteristic. The panel have able to do 96 output available. You can use the devices that you can use to do that are the module 4204. That's a module relay that have 4 relay in it, and the 4204 CF. You can do with that one activate one NAC, one bell output, or the other module, the 4101 SN. That's a VPlex relay. All these are Form C output, programmable by system event, time schedule, alarm activation, trouble supervisories, forward smooth detector reset, or individual sound operation. Also as a sound type, you can activate that by. You can manually activate those relay after you program it in the panel using the code plus 70 or code plus 77 mode. Right? You can activate manually those relay. This here right here is the 4204 relay, the relay module that is connected to the ECP bus where you'll be connecting a keypad. Then you have to set up an address. Here's the depth switching at the bottom. You set up an address that you can use from address 1 to 31. And then you can map all this relay individually, activate this 4 relay individually. Okay. Right here you got the 4204 CF. This is only one NAC output can be used for UL commercial fire system, okay? As a 4 relay, but if when you program it in the panel, you would tell us a CF, and they will activate the supervision so that way the last relay, number 4, you can activate the output. You have to give the power, okay, to the wire properly on the relay, and then when activate, will activate that next circuit. You got a 4101 SN is a relay module with the one zone expander. You can add one zone in here. It's connected to the pulling loop, and you have a contact right here, normally closed, normally open contact that you can. That's how you can use all your 96 outputs. The communication format in the panel is Adenco contact ID, Adenco contact ID 10 digit, and 4+2 Adenco Express. All right. Now, those you're gonna see here, 2 or 3 slides about voice over IP communication factor. All phone lines that are voice over IP, or all those lines that are coming out of a modem or out of a router, and not compatible with our panels. Okay, because those lines are unstable, and I can give you the wrong contact ID, and sometimes we send a signal, sometimes we will not send a signal. So alarm communications are not compatible with both voice over IP phone services. If POT or landlines are not available, we recommend to use on-net communicators. Okay. This is end user letter that we sent a long time ago when those phone lines came out. All right, notifying that those lines are not compatible. Okay. I'm sorry about that. This is the 6160CR2, the commercial alpha keypad. Have 2 lines for description, and also include LEDs for the condition of your fire alarm system. Like you also to let you know the system is powered by AC if you have the system in a fire alarm, or if it is silence, trouble, or on fire supervisory. It will tell you through the LEDs. All right. This is the isolator module. What I explained before is to isolate the ECP devices from the burn and fire. Okay. This ECP isolator separate the keypads and other devices from intrusive devices on the ECP bus. Okay. For a fire commercial installation, if you're using intrusion devices and fire devices, you have to add the ECP ISO, so that way you will put one from here. You connect this to the ECP of the panel, and then here you will come out through your burglar devices, and straight from the panel you will go to your fire devices. This is how it goes installed in the panel. The mount over the cabinet by the right side on top of the panel, and you have to install this how it's shown in the picture. This is how it's explained before. You get your isolator module, you got your TV2 connections in the bottom, where you will do the connection for the ECP, and then in your terminal TV1, that's where you will come in now through your burglar devices. Now, for your fire devices, you will connect that straight to the panel. Okay, that's how you isolate the fire devices from the burglar devices. Under standard standards, we have on the panel available 2 bell output. Each bell circuit is rated for special application for fire at 10 to 14 volts DC, 1.7 amps. Okay, note this. The total alarm current draw from auxiliary power 1 and auxiliary power 2, pulley loop, bell 1 and bell 2 cannot exceed 2.3 amp for battery independent operation. All right. Panels are enabled for bell supervision that cannot be disabled, and it will report as 970, so 970 for bell 1 and 971 for bell 2 supervision. Those are programmed by default as a SOM type 19 24 hours trouble. If you need to add more NAC or NAC circuit for the horn strobes, you can use the PS24 power supply. All right, this is have that 2 NAC available, and it can be supervised. And at the panel, you wire this terminal 9 and 8 to a zone of the panel to supervise when this power supply goes into trouble. Okay. This is a graphic. What I was talking about the bplex. This is your terminal for bplex only loop. Our terminal 28 and 29, positive and negative. How to explain this? 2-wire loops include data and power. Loop current devices go straight to the pulling loop, like like module 4208. You can go from one to another pulling loop. Like smooth detector V-Plex devices, they go straight to the pulling loop. All right, home runs not necessary due to they have an individual point ID. You can have this have on 128 milliamp available from the control panel. Remember, you only can use 64 milliamp. If you exceed that 64 milliamp, then you will have to add a 4297 loop extender module. Multiple loops can be run and twisted pair is required. Okay. The bplex loop bus is used to communicate with the 42A SNF Sun Spatial Module or other than bplex devices. It will communicate through multiplexings, and the maximum bplex current draw from terminals 28 and 29 is 128 milliamp. But what you should maximum that you should use an individual circuit is 64 milliamp. That's why you use 64 milliamp and then would add on a standard power, the 4297, okay? This is a table here of Vplex configuration wire runs. This is here you have the current that you're using with the gauge and the weight of the wire and the distance, okay? For example, if you're using you drawing from the panel, the total of all the devices that you have connected is 104 milliamp, and you're using an 18 gauge wire, then you cannot exceed 3,090 feet. Okay, you need to have that in mind. All right. So the maximum amount of cable that is wired directly to the control panel is limited to 12,000 feet for non-shielded cable. For shielded cable or cable in metal conduit, the maximum amount of cable is 6,000 feet. You have to add all those cable all those wire runs that you have. Okay. More consideration for biplex wires have to be twisted stranded. No shielded cable is required. Shielded cable or full metallic conduit will increase the capacitance of the wires run, which limit the distance. Avoid running the cable near keypad wiring, intercom, or AC power lines, such as high voltage. Avoid sharp bends in the wire as well. Don't tie it too tight against metals. Observe device and control requirement on serial number versus dip switch mode. If all devices can be serial, must be serial, okay? We have here the 4297, what I was mentioning repeatedly already, the loop extender module. It go connected to the pulling loop, the input pulling loop, and then you from here for the staction pulling loop, you go to your devices. You power up this guy right here, okay? You need to power up. And also will work as an isolator module as well as a short isolator, okay? The distance limitation for a total wire when using a 4297 pulley loop standard is when the sum of the wire runs tied directly to the control panel and any one extender cannot exceed 12,000 feet for notching the wire and 6,000 feet for that is shoulder on a orders and a full conduit. Okay, if you see multiple extender, the panel only sees the low of the extender with the most wire on it. For example, if the control panel has 4,000 wire connected directly to it, each expander may have up to 8,000 connected. The pulling loop is limited by the current capability, okay? The VISTA32 FBPT is limited to 120 milliamp as well, available for the pulling loop. The combined current of all devices connect directly to the panel must not exceed this rating. Each 4297 may power devices whose combined current may total up to 128 milliamp. How I mentioned before, not exceed 64. It can give you 128, but if you want a proper response of the panel, do not exceed 64. Each 4297 must be home run back to the control panel, not through another 4297. So you will have to do multiple loops, okay? This is an example of that. You have here the control panel. You have one loop coming out of there, another loop coming out of here, and you have a 4297 for you put loop devices such as Berg. It's always recommended to put Berg devices on one loop, fire devices on another loop. And here in the second loop is coming out from the panel without 4297, and then you go to your devices. Okay, this is how the configuration is being done. You have here the VSI VPlex short isolator modules. This isolator module, you can put it on your loop for your VPlex devices, so that way your short is going to be stopped, but trying to stop it so it's not going to damage your whole loop. Okay? It can be powered directly from the VPlex. There's 2-wire pulling loop. It's a lower consumption. It's 1.2 milliamp when the LED is off and 5 milliamp when the LED is on. Okay? This is how it will look if you have two loop. There you go right here. You got your two loop, one for fire, one for Berg, and you have your BSI isolator module. So that way, if one of these devices is going to short, it's not going to go all the way to the loop and go back to the panel to the loop, because you have a module right here to isolate that short. Okay. This is very important. For the BPlex zone, additional hardwire zone can be added using the RPMs module, the remote point modules, okay? Them serial input modules. Module can be serial of dip switch addressable, but if the module can be serial, must be serial, okay? You're specifying a little bit of the BPlex devices. You have the 4101 SN is a single zone plus a Form C relay. You have the 4208U is a zone expander module. You have the 4208SN is a zone expander module increase on zero numbers, only zero numbers. The 4208 have the switches for zone and serial numbers. But as I said before, if can be serial, must be serial. All right. You got the 42A SNF is a 8-zone expander, and one of the zone can be universal class A module. Have this 4190 SN is a 2-zone expander module. 4193 SN 2-zone zero interface module is a UL lister for fire. 4297 the pulling loop booster and isolator module. You have the BSI BPlex short isolator module. Okay, this is a 4208. You have to power out. You will see why you have to power up. I think it's here on the slides. You got your A loops or zones, or supervised by the 10K resistors. Okay, you have the input to install it straight to your pulling loop and to power it up. What happens if you don't power it up? Very simple. Then this guy right here is going to consume 20.73 milliamp, okay? And you only have available 40.3 milliamp. But what happens if you power up? Then if you power up the 4208, then it's going to consume only 0.6 milliamp, and you're going to have available for in that device 63.4 milliamp. And this is the table how it comes for zero mode settings. When you turn dip switch number 6, you will turn this loop on a serial number. This loop A, B, C, D, E, F, all the way to H are like you know as zones. If I go back right here, it's this right here. Loop A, B, C, D, that's your A zones right here, okay? So when you set up your dip switches, each zone is going to take this serial number. They're going to have their own addressable point ID, okay? There's a 42A SN. It looks exactly the same as a 4208. 8 loops, A zone, how you know it. You connect it to the pulling loop and you power it up. If you don't power it up, then it's going to consume 33.6 milliamp. You only going to have available 30.4 of those 64 milliamp that we talk about it. If you power it up, it's going to consume only 0.6 milliamp, and you're going to have available 63.4 milliamp to use. Have two tables for zero numbers, okay? So if you set up your tables, any of table 1 or table 2 dip switches, it will take those serial number, those loops, all right? You have the 4208 SNF. The difference is what I mentioned before. You have a zone here for class A zones, okay? Same, if you don't power it up, it's going to consume 33.6 milliamp. If you do power it up, it's going to consume less milliamp, 0.6 milliamp, and you're going to have available 63.4 milliamps to use. Have your table for serial to set up your dip switches, because remember what we say. If it is serial, can be like if it can be serial, must be serial. All right. Then you have the 4190S and module, okay, as a pulling loop device, and you have a right loop for normally closed series circuit, and loop one for normally closed circuit internal EOL, okay. You have the 4193 module. Two loops could be supervised or unsupervised. Loop one, all right, is a UL listed for fire installations. When you install them, must be within 3 feet the device, the initiating devices that you have installed into. You have the 4101SN that's connected also to the pulling loop to only one zone available, and you have a relay for normally normally closed or normally open. All right. This is the smooth detector 5193 SD is a smooth detector only. SDT will be a smooth detector and thermal. All right. Notice how they coming out of right here of the pulling loop. This is maybe the BPT panel terminals. On the FBPT is 2829. So it's coming out of the pulling loop from one device going to another device. All right, to another P-plex device. For the 5800 wireless receiver, this panel, the BPT, FBPT, the commercial panel, they support up to 2 wireless receiver, all right? I will provide greater area to coverage and will receiver operate redundantly, okay? If you're gonna do the 2 receiver, they have to be the same model, same common receiver, all right? And the 5081 ENHC is the commercial receiver that have a front and back tamper, and it's a commercial for commercial intrusion and fire applications. Okay. We have here a wireless installation guidelines, the what to do. Okay. Like the best thing to do is install the receiver as high as possible. Check the building construction. Home run the receiver. Check the rec LED for possible interference. Only use the antennas provided. Make sure they are not bent or pointing straight up or down and not near metal, okay? Wireless installation, more things to what to do. It's test all transmitter with the go no go test mode. Recommend 10 trips per transmitter if the environment is questionable. You should mount the transmitter vertically. Some devices require a horizontal mounting, like smoke detector or heat detectors. Test again after the final transmitter placement, after final installation. Make sure batteries are set up properly and fully charged. Enroll all transmitters as input type RF whenever possible. That's excluding the buttons like the 5834. Those are BR devices. You have the panic buttons like the medicals. You can program those as like you are unsupervised devices due to people taking a lot with them in the car, shower. Okay, this is the wireless installation guidelines that not to do. Do not do. Do not install transmitters on full back wallpaper. Do not install transmitter on metal windows or door frames that are metals. All right. Do not install transmitter or receiver with a large mirror is in the reception pad. All right. You cannot put a transmitter or receiver in front of it. You're gonna have a big mirror. You cannot do that. Do not install equipment where the temperature exceeds 120 degrees Fahrenheit and drop below 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Do not place equipment in a wet environment where the humidity is 95%. More of what not to do on a wireless installation are: do not mount wireless transmitter extremely close to the receiver. That will not work. That will give you interference. Do not place receiver close at 10 feet from a keypad or a pulling loop panel. That being said, do not put it inside the cabinet that goes 10 feet away from the panel or 10 feet away from the keypad as well. Do not enroll the transmitter with the incorrect input type. What is RF is RF, what is UR is UR, and what it needs to be BR will be BR. Do not enroll the transmitter by activating its tamper switch unless the installation instruction will tell you to do so. In most of the cases, if you do that, it will learn the wrong loop number. All right, you have to activate the device how it says in the manual. Activate the device twice so that way you can learn the serial, then it will learn the loop number, and then you advance on the some programming, and then you have to activate one more time to check whatever you enter was received. So you have you can compare whatever you enter is correct or not. Okay. You have here the 5881 RF receiver. How I said before, it's allowed to use up to 2 receivers. They need to have the same address. You can set the address 1 through 7. Those are the address available for the receiver. If you're going to have 2 receivers for better coverage, remember, have to be the same model. And on panel programming, field 93, device programming, you would tell, okay, my device number 3 is an RF expander. You have to enable that. Okay. You can have the 5800 RP, the wireless repeater. How many you can put in the panel? How many as you can? How many as you want if you are not going to supervise it. But if you are going to supervise it, right, you have to enable the zones to supervise the receiver. All right. So there's 2 ways to supervise it. If you supervise this with only one zone, all right, then any trouble that comes to the receiver is going to give you a low battery trouble. All right. If you have a low battery issue, if you have a RF jam or AC loss or the tamper is open or whatever, you're going to get that as a low battery. So if you're going to supervise it, I would recommend for you to use the 4 zone. There are for one for the tamper, one for the AC loss, one for the RF jam, and one for the low battery. Okay. Now, have this in mind. Yes, you can use how many as you want if you are not monitoring, but the repeater did not repeat the signal from my repeater. The repeater repeat the signal from the wireless receiver. Okay? Okay, in the RF wireless zone, you can use any zone excluding zone 64 because zone 64 is reserved for the 5800 wireless keypad. All right? You can use the 2 wireless receiver, have to be the same model. Receiver supervision zone will panel check for device every 45 seconds, and it will give you a 1A plus a 2-digit the device address. That being said, you set up the address of the receiver on address 7, and you have an issue, it will come as a 807. Zones 990 and 988 are used to supervise receivers as well. For the 1, 2, I'm sorry, for supervise the repeaters as well, from 1 and 2 respectively. Okay. The 1500 devices have 7-digit serial number that must be entered via programming. You can enter that manually, or you can enter that activating the device. Remember to enter the right input type. If it is supervised or unsupervised, or if it is a BR button. Okay. This right here, you have the fire and CO transmitter, like smoke detector, carbon monoxide detector, the commercial contact, and heat detector as well. Here you have a power current calculation. You can take a picture of that, so that way you can download this sheet. It's just an Excel sheet file that you can do your calculation of power of the device that you have. Okay. And the span, so that way you know what kind of battery you can use also as well. Okay. Thank you very much. We have been finished with this webinar. I don't know if somebody have a question. Also, please do not disconnect yet. I'm going to open the survey. so that way you guys can do the survey for us, please. Um, there you go. If you can scan, do me a favor and scan the survey. It will take you a straight for you to do the survey. If you do have it on the iPhone, it's gonna ask you if you want to open that on Safari. If you have Android, you have to do it with your app for barcodes. Okay. In the meantime, I don't know if someone have any questions. If someone have any question, feel free to ask. I don't know, Camila, if you can see if someone have a question. I don't see question right now.
No, Henry, no question.
Okay, I'm gonna leave this app a little bit here for at least 2 more minutes. The barcode, so that way whoever's doing the survey is able to open it up, get to the site where it take you straight to the survey, please. If anyone have any issue to get to it, let me know so I can help you out. All right, and this right here is the email for support email. Is let me go here. It's home support Clark at residio.com. So I have George here that he have a question. Go ahead, George. What is your question? Okay, where the B plus connection is concerned, it's the same PoE technology. PoE as you connect cameras? No. There's no same technology as a PoE. That's what you're understanding under your question. Your PoE is where you use switches to put cameras and PoE your cameras. That's, I think, what you're talking about. The P-Plex technology is just two wires, all right, that have data and power for V-Plex devices to add sound expander or to have devices that are V-Plex like a motion detector, glass break. So instead of it, let's say you have a normal motion detector that need two wires for your zone and two wires for your power. Okay, and you normally connect that to a zone expander, to auxiliary power, or maybe to the one of the 8 zones or 9 zone, whatever zone you have on board of the panel, and you put it to a zone, the two wire for the zone, and then the other two wire for power. Okay, this motion detector V-Plex, you only have to run it 2 wires. Those 2 wires that are coming out of your panel, you go straight to your motion detectors, only 2 wires. You connect the 2 wires, you already have your data and power. So when you are programming that device, you would tell, because the motion detector would tell it's a smart contact device, and it's going to take a serial number, a different individual point ID. All right, you have another motion detector that is B-Plex or a recess contact that is B-Plex. You can come out just from the B-Plex motion and go straight to the other motion. Okay, it behaves more as an SLC data from a fire panel, like a Firelight or Silent Night SLC. It behaves as an SLC, but the difference is that you have to go here to the current and the zones. All right, the limit. You have to be aware that you cannot exceed those milliamp. If you're gonna exceed the milliamp, the 64 milliamps, then you have to use a 4297 to understand your power. I don't know if that answered your question, George. All right, thank you. No problem. I don't know if someone else have another question. George, that he says about another question. You have another question? Yeah, he just wrote it. Okay, I'm trying to understand fully the VPLIX technology. I this program an ordinary zone of the panel board. Remember, on the board of the panel, I'm gonna go right here back to that so I can show you the wiring diagram. It's not here. Let me go to that. Okay. Okay. Give me 1 second so I can get to the wire diagram. Let me see if I have the full wire diagram here. If not, I just open up wire diagram real quick so I can show you that better. Let me show you that better with a wiring diagram, okay? So that way you can see it properly. Let me go here. All right, let me open that up. Let me zoom in. All right, this is your wire diagram for the FBPT panel. All right, you have your A zones. All right, this is the BPT. Let's say if an FBPT. Okay. Let me put it here on the BPT. The BPT on the FBPT, you're not gonna have the zone 9 on the FBPT. On the BPT, you do have zone 9. All right. So you have a zone, 9 zone here for the BPT. Here for this A zone, remember zone 1, you can have up to 16 two-wire smooth detectors. If you're not going to have any two-wire smooth detector, yes, you can put a contact here. Regular conventional motion detectors. Those conventional motion detector here for zone 1 through 8 or 9, you can do any conventional device like regular contact, regular motion. Um, those devices, regular glass break that has 4 wires like motion and glass break, you would use the zone to connect the zone of the device and your power auxiliary right here where I have red and black for my keypad. You will power that up. You will power your conventional device. Now I have here those two terminals, terminal 24 and terminal 25. Okay. From here I'm coming out of the pulley loop. Okay. Let me do this. Let me do this right here. Oh, I did something that was not supposed to. I'm sorry. From here, from that pulley loop, obvious all this yellow right here on the right side, on the left side, my bad. But here on the pulley loop, that's where you're going to connect, for example, your 4208U. That's your zone expander, okay? That 4208U zone expander has a zone, but it's good connected to the pulley loop. And those A zone that you have, you can connect your conventional devices like the one that you connected here on zones 1 through 8. But if you have this smoke detector right here, the 5193 SD, that's a smoke detector VPlex technology. Then you will come out from the pulley loop connection of the 4208 and go straight to my device. And when I'm programming this device, I will go through field 93 device, some programming. And when I'm programming that zone, I have to go from some 10 and above, right, to program my pulley loop devices. When I'm programming that zone, then I would tell, okay, this zone is a serial pole pulley loop. You have to tell what kind of input type the hardwire it is, all right, because it's connected to the pulley loop. You will tell, yes, it's a serial pole device because it's connected to a serial pole. You're gonna see a lot of questions like if it is an FBPT device, also will ask you if it is a FBPT panel, also will ask you if you want to activate a relay or you want to activate the bell 1 or bell 2. You have to go through those questions, and then because it is a smooth detector B plus, have the feature for you to tell it that it's gonna be a smart contact. When you tell it yes, because it's a smooth detector biplex, and you have the feature to know the maintenance of the device. If it's a low maintenance, high maintenance sensitivity, is it 30? And when you're learning the device, it's going to learn his zero numbers. But yes, you would program it as a zone on the panel. But then you will go through the zone programming and you will tell it, no, on my input type is a serial pool device. In this case, from zones 1 through 8, you have to tell them those, oh no, this is a hardwired to the panel. I don't know if that answered your question, George. I don't see if George replying. Okay, not no problem. Thank you, George. No problem. You're very welcome. If you have any other question or something else that you need to know about VPlex or some kind of paperwork on how to do something on the zone, you can email here on support@clarresidio.com. Okay, and then you can ask for support. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for attending this webinar. And remember, that's the email for support. If you guys have any other question or need any support, can send that question right there to that email. Thank you very much, Camila. Have a good day, everyone.